Hi, my friends. It's another edition of Nic Leobold Live with my second video of today. Check out my other video, Christopher Cantwell is a Nigger. But this video is about Stefan Molyneux and his biodiversity crap, I guess you could call it, because Stefan Molyneux talks about his biodiversity theory, and he claims that blacks and some other races are genetically somehow inferior or genetically predisposed to being inferior. And when you really think about it, it's just utter crap. It's pathetic, pseudo-intellectual horseshit. Because, first of all, as I pointed out in my previous video today, talking about Christopher Cantwell, if you examine Black American culture and art and science and all the things that they have accomplished, it's overwhelming, and it disproves anyone who would claim that, like they're an inferior people, or it's so stupid. It just like, when you think about it, it's so stupid. I think a few times for a few minutes I considered that, is it possible that genetically, like, a greater percentage of one race is inferior? But when you think about it, it's so ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense because, like, the ancient civilizations were mostly either Asian or African or Central American, right? With the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Incas, and the Egyptians, and then all the Asian ancient civilizations. So right off the bat, and also the Arabian civilizations, I guess, but those were later. But so right off the bat, the major ancient precursors to civilization, modern civilization, had like, a half or a majority or whatever of so-called, quote-unquote minority people, who, by the way, what they call minorities are actually the majority, like fair-colored or so-called white people who are not white, actually, because white is like a sheet of copy paper. That's white. Like, white people are not white. They're, fair-skinned. But, like, so-called white people are actually a minority, not a majority. So when you call minorities, they're actually the majorities, or the majority. But anyway, and it's all very stupid, but back to Stefan Molyneux. He claims that black people's brains are statistically smaller, I think. And he also claims that statistically black people have lower intelligence. But then he kind of like sneaks in the fact that, well, even if it's environmental, that doesn't matter. But Stefan, it does matter. Like, of course environment matters. And like, if it's environmental, then it's not true. If it's environmental, then there is no genetic inferiority. And of course it's environmental. Like, I'm so-called white or fair-skinned, and there have been a lot of environmental factors in my life that have screwed up my life. God damn it, I cannot shake this fucking cold. But anyway, in my life, there have been a lot of environmental factors that have screwed up my life to a great extent. And like black people and like the Native Americans, the American Indians, and like other groups in America have been persecuted and discriminated against for hundreds of years. And of course, statistically, if your whole group is discriminated and persecuted and victimized for hundreds of years. Of course, culturally, your group is going to suffer lower outcomes than other groups that are not victimized and harassed all the freaking time. So of course environment matters. It matters to everyone. And like, if you claim, personal responsibility, you're totally personally responsible for all your outcomes, then you're contradicting all of science and all of the intellectuals and scientists and technocrats themselves who agree who agree that outcomes are a product of both environment and genetics and also other factors. But like scientists and doctors who Stefan Molyneux claims to trust and follow, Stefan Molyneux claims to follow logic, reason, philosophy, truth, and the scientific method, but he doesn't believe environment is an important factor. It's so ridiculous, and like it's so lame and pathetic, because like Stefan Molyneux is playing the race card. He's doing the exact same thing that libertarians and free market anarchists and voluntarists accuse the establishment elites of doing, which is divide and conquer. Like Stefan Molyneux, it's such an obvious attempt at like crass publicity seeking and attention getting to use the race card and the pseudo intellectual science bullshit of biodiversity trying to pass off as statistically, scientifically legitimate. But when you just look around at reality, it totally collapses. It's total bullshit, because, as I said in my previous video today, look at all the genius professional athletes. Like, I'm a sports fan, so like athletics is very important to me, and I'm an athlete too. And look at all the music, the jazz, the classical music that blacks and Native Americans and all races have accomplished. And you look at like poetry, literature, significant accomplishments by black poets and writers, and like in any field, like George, what's his name? Can't remember the guy's name, but like the African American agriculture guy who like pioneered all the research into crops and beans. Like I read his biography when I was in grade school. I think his name is George Carver or something like that. And like, not to mention all the liberty pioneers who are black and other races, like Frederick Douglass and Malcolm X. So like in my other video, I went into this, but like, and like Stefan Molyneux is like, he is not a philosopher. He calls himself a philosopher, but he's not a philosopher. Stefan Molyneux is a marketing salesman for the liberty movement. And like, I like that. I like a lot of the work that Stefan Molyneux does. And he does a lot of good work, and he's a very high energy, very, very productive writer and blogger and activist for the liberty movement, and I applaud that. But like, this biodiversity tangent is so pathetic and lame, because it's obviously not true. And like, Stefan Molyneux just like Christopher Cantwell is totally discrediting himself when he pushes this bullshit. Because, like, if you look at all the examples of Black American and Black global accomplishment and all the Black leaders in every single field, like, the whole argument just collapses that it's only genetics. So, like, what about all the dumb, stupid white people? What about all the dumb, stupid, fair-skinned European people and American people who, like, live in degradation, filth, and stupidity? What about them? It's like, is Stefan Molyneux gonna claim that that's personal responsibility, and but their genetics are 100%, pure perfection? It just makes me laugh. It just makes me laugh so much because, like, Stefan Molyneux is like a salesman. And, like, he's constantly making new videos. And, like, my impression is that one of the reasons he's maybe so desperate to make so many new videos every single day is that he needs more contributions. And, like, the guy is desperate to keep up his income flow. And also now he's a family man. Now he has a child. So, like, daughters are very expensive, even more expensive than sons. And, like, so the guy is, apparently, he's desperate for contributions and donations. But, like I said, it's like race baiting. And it's really, really lame. And it makes no sense whatsoever. It's not scientific. Oh, but like I was saying, Stefan Molyneux is not a philosopher. And, like, this is a perfect example. This is not based on science and reason. This is based on marketing and sales. Like, biodiversity, racism is sells a lot because, stupid people want an easy answer to everything. While the people in power laugh at all of us, because the people in power are the ones that are pushing the racism as a divide and conquer strategy. And, like, Stefan Molyneux is supposed to be a pro-liberty freedom fighter, but he's playing right into the hands of the elites and the establishment by promoting this biodiversity racism. So, I mean, that's not philosophy. That is fucking profiteering capitalism. It's profiteering capitalism. That's what it is. Like, so, like, a lot of the work that Stefan Molyneux does, like, most of it is great. I liked him more when he was more of a free market anarchist. Now he's kind of like, like, I understand that he's favoring Trump over Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton is the worst. But, like, I don't think he seems to be overlooking the fact that even though Trump is like a million times better than Clinton, a lot of Trump's policies are going to be a disaster. and his major policies are not even going to be implemented. I mean, we're not going to build a wall, probably. That's very unlikely. And we're not going to deport 15 million people out of the country. Because, like, Stefan Molyneux, like, it's so pathetic. And, like, I, like, a long time ago, I donated like $5 or $10 a couple of times to Stefan when he was really, like, when he was doing really cutting edge free market anarchist podcasts. So I spotted him, a few donations. But, like, I contacted him on Facebook where we were friends on Facebook. Friends with a capital F. Facebook friends with a capital F. And, like, I tried to engage him in a conversation about God and how Stefan is an atheist, or he was an atheist. and he was denying the existence of God. And I tried to engage him in a debate on that through chat, Facebook chat, and he totally blew me off and refused to even communicate. And I realized then that the guy is kind of a charlatan. Like, I imagine that for his regular monthly super subscribers, that he engages those people in like serious, longer conversations. But for a small-time contributor like me, he totally blew me off. And like, if you really examine it, he's a salesman. He's a marketing capitalist salesman. I mean, I can't call all of his stuff capitalism, but when he when he pushes the racist biodiversity stuff, it's capitalism. It's pure capitalism. So, I mean, it's and it's not even funny. It's just pathetic. It's like he's not even Christopher Cantwell, because he's not even joking. He's not even doing something funny. He's just pushing a racist, unscientific, bogus, racist, divide and conquer pseudo philosophy, which is not philosophy, a pseudo science, and it's not scientific, and it's so obviously fraudulent, and so it's lame, pathetic bullshit. And he's doing it to get more donations, and it's really pathetic. It's really pathetic, and like, so I had to call him out on this, and it's just pathetic. It's just pathetic. It's not funny. So someone's at the door, so I'm going to end this video. So thank you very much. This is Nic Leobold live, signing off. Thank you, and have a great week.